Imagine being able to vote in an election on whether covering your face should be banned, or whether we should introduce universal basic income for everyone. This may sound extreme, but in Switzerland, it's practically a part of everyday life. Up to 4 times a year, the Swiss head to the polls and have a direct say in referendums. This is precisely why some see Switzerland as one of the best democracies in the world. But are referendums really that good, and are they better for democracy? In this video, I will explain how the Swiss system works and let you know why it's not quite the perfect system some people make it out to be. First of all, I wanted to know what the Swiss themselves think of their referendums.
Gut und wichtig, sehr wichtig sogar. Ich gehe eigentlich an jede Volksabstimmung.
Also ich finde die Abstimmungen auf jeden Fall gut, da wir da mitbestimmen können, was die Politik macht.
Wir können ja Einfluss nehmen und wir können mitmachen und dann muss man das auch unbedingt nutzen.
So the people we met are pretty much all in agreement. But what exactly are we talking about? How do referendums work in Switzerland? First of all, it's important to know that Switzerland is a combination of representative and direct democracy. The representative part means that the parliament is elected by the people, which then appoints the government and passes the laws as long as the people don't intervene. The direct part is the referendums. They take place at the national, cantonal, and communal level. In this video, we're talking about the national level. There are virtually no limits to the topics that can be covered in referendums. Put simply, there are 2 types of referendum in Switzerland. Referendums that the Swiss can use to block laws, and popular initiatives where people can make their own proposals. Of course, it all gets much more complex. If you want more details, you can find them in the caption. It's important to know that the Swiss parliament passes the vast majority of laws without a referendum, and the proportion of popular initiatives is also low compared to the number of laws passed by the parliament. Hans-Peter Schaub explained to us what's so special about it. He is a Swiss political scientist and an expert on direct democracy.
Im internationalen Vergleich sind die Hürden relativ niedrig, eine solche Volksinitiative zu starten. Es braucht 100.000 Unterschriften von Stimmberechtigten. Das sind etwas weniger als 2% aller Stimmberechtigten in der Schweiz. Man hat 1,5 Jahre Zeit dafür, um diese zu sammeln. Und diese relativ niedrigen Hürden führen einerseits dazu, dass dieses Instrument tatsächlich auch regelmäßig genutzt wird. Also etwa 4, 5 Volksinitiativen pro Jahr kommen zur Abstimmung.
So you can participate directly in legislative processes in Switzerland. It all sounds pretty perfect, doesn't it? Not quite. Despite all the advantages, there are 3 major points of criticism of referendums that are important. Unequal and lacking participation. Although this is often suggested here, participation in Swiss referendums is not always equal. In other words, low-income, less educated, or younger generations tend to be underrepresented at the ballot box. This is a problem for the legitimacy of the decisions. Of course, it's up to you whether you vote or not. After all, voting is almost never compulsory in Switzerland. At 26%, there's a high proportion of people without a Swiss passport who are not even allowed to vote. That's more foreigners than in almost all other European countries. According to Hans-Peter, there are several examples of what can happen when decisions are taken over the heads of a minority. For example, a vote that led to a ban on building minarets.
Das war eine Volksinitiative aus nationalkonservativen Kreisen, die im Jahr 2009 zur Abstimmung kam und angenommen wurde. Ein Kritikpunkt war, dass hier eine Mehrheit, nämlich die christliche und konfessionslose Mehrheit in der Schweiz, über die Rechte der muslimischen Minderheit entschied. Und es wurde von den GegnerInnen auch argumentiert, dass das die Religionsfreiheit eben der muslimischen Bevölkerung verletze.
Complexity favors manipulability. For some topics, it can be quite complicated to make a simple yes or no decision.
Was ich schwierig finde, ist, dass es halt zu sehr vielen Diskussionen führt, die oft nicht so einfach lösbar sind.
Nachteil der Volksabstimmung ist es, oftmals die Themen viel Fachwissen erfordern und man dann vielleicht nicht immer Lust hat, sich zu informieren oder dass man vielleicht halt dann mit wenig Fachwissen eine wichtige Entscheidung trifft.
Unsurprisingly, the Swiss are strongly guided by recommendations issued by parliament, organizations or parties, for example. They invest a lot of money, personnel and effort in campaigns. Experts speak of a referendum campaign that is used to get attention with simple and sometimes radical slogans. On the other hand, referendums can also make debates more objective, because ultimately, citizens have to decide on specific issues. Nevertheless, a survey showed that many Swiss people find that the politicians who get the most attention are those who are the most provocative and not those with the best political ideas. Of course, this criticism also applies to many other political systems. The difference in Switzerland, however, is that the people have many more political rights thanks to direct voting. No quick solutions. Can referendums help to find solutions when things need to be done quickly? In short, direct democracy tends to be the opposite of fast, precisely because a majority is needed, not only in parliament for a particular proposal, but also among the population. The Climate Protection Act is a good example of this, says Hans-Peter.
2015 begann der Bundesrat, also die Regierung in der Schweiz, mit den Arbeiten für ein CO2-Gesetz, wo unter anderem Emissionseinschränkungen und Preiserhöhungen für Benzin vorgesehen war. Das wurde dann im Parlament behandelt und dann 6 Jahre später wurde dann über dieses Gesetz an der Urne abgestimmt und es gab ein Nein. Die Regierung und ein neues Gesetz ausgearbeitet und keine Preiserhöhungen mehr darin vorgesehen, auch keine Verbote, sondern sich eigentlich auf Fördermaßnahmen beschränkt. Und diese Vorlage kam dann 2023 zur Abstimmung nach 2 Jahren und die wurde dann auch tatsächlich angenommen. Das ist sehr oft so. Es gelingt meistens nicht, eine Mehrheit der Stimmbevölkerung von Anfang an für irgendeinen großen Wurf zu überzeugen.
But there is also the other point of view here. Supporters of the referendum say, yes, it won't happen so quickly, but at least you'll end up with widely accepted compromises. Switzerland is already addressing some points of criticism. For example, a popular initiative is currently underway calling for the right to vote for foreigners who have lived in Switzerland for a certain period of time. There is also a discussion about whether to involve a Swiss constitutional court that would be able to block referendums in the future that are too extreme. To round it up, we can say that democracy does not automatically improve through referendums, but it does work differently. Hans-Peter thinks the biggest advantages of Swiss referendums is the fact that citizens would identify more strongly with political decisions if they themselves had the opportunity to participate in them. He says they would feel like they are almost part of the state. What do you think? Should there be more referendums in your country? Let us know in the comments.